to the breakfast show here on Faith FM. I'm here with you, Skafy, and of course I have my new friend, Narek, joining us.
Yes, sir.
And we have producer Shell here, of course, in the studio, in the desk. We got a new quiz question to kickstart this part, and then we are going to get into our Philippians Bible study.
Quiz number 4 for today. Some of these ones are a bit hard, but I think that if you think this one through, you're going to get the right answer. Okay?
Let's try.
So just, who was Nahshon, son of Amminadab, appointed to lead by? Who would have appointed this man to lead in a capacity? Who was Nahshon, son of Amminadab, appointed to lead by? It's an Old Testament story.
Okay. Nahshon, the son of Amminadab. These names are familiar to me. Are they familiar to you, Narek?
No, I have no idea who these guys are.
I think that even if you don't know the names of these people, you can take a very good guess.
You can take a good guess, for sure.
At who does appointing, first off.
Yeah.
And this person was appointed to lead.
I think this is the person here. This is going to be... I have 3 names floating around in my head, but I would go with this one. Let's see how
You got it.
I got it? Okay.
Yeah. Were you going that direction?
No, I wasn't. I was thinking maybe a king
Okay.
did an appointing. I'm not too sure.
Kings do appointing.
That's right. That's right.
So
So that's another little clue for you there, everybody. It's not a king.
it's not a king.
That's
Yeah.
right. Very good. 0491 064 669 is our text line. 0491 064 669. Who was Nahshon, son of Amminadab, appointed to lead by?
Very good.
If I give away the book of the Bible, you will know immediately who this is.
Yes.
So I
yes.
can't
don't
tell you
don't give
right
it
now.
away. We got a message from David here that I found interesting. He said, hey, Skafy, Marvel's mutants have an X gene in their system. When they reach puberty, the gene is active, sometimes to the environment, sometimes to the country of their birth, according to the creative mind of Stan Lee. They are referred to as ultimate Homo superior, humanity, instead of just Homo sapiens. So he's talking about the supernatural thing. Why were we talking about? I think because we were talking about Spider-Man and the difference between Bible heroes in our first segment and like Marvel heroes.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel heroes, they become superheroes because of 100% luck and supernatural things that are not accessible to you and I, versus Bible heroes they are people exactly like us. The only thing that distinguishes them is that they trusted in God, which is something that anybody can do. So David, thank you very much for that one. And there's another message here from David that I actually wanted to read it. I found it was quite amusing. He says, hey, the name Narek is of an Armenian origin, derived from the 10th century village of Narek, which is now in Turkey, and Saint Gregory of Narek, a famous Armenian monk and poet. It is one of the top 10 most common male names in Armenia.
Wow.
So, Narek, are you Armenian?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately not. Sorry, David, but I am of Samoan descent. I saw how it was spelled, Narek.
Yes, Narek.
Yes.
Is that how you spell it?
Oh, so my name is spelled Neric.
Okay.
Yes.
Narek. Actually, this is your nickname.
Yes.
If I'm understanding correctly.
Yes, it is.
What
My
is your
full name is John Eric. So,
John Eric.
Yeah. So it's basically kind of 2 names into one, John and Eric, but it's John. So J-A-H. So it's
J-A-H.
Yep.
N.
John. John. Yeah, and then Eric.
John Eric.
Yes.
Okay.
So my mom said that she made this name up when she saw me. She said, yep, this guy's going to be named
looks like
John Eric.
John Eric.
I hope she didn't get it from just the generic brand medicine that she saw next to her.
Look at the baby and said, look, he looks like a generic baby. I'm going to call him generic.
I'm going to call him John Eric.
Love it. That's so funny. Welcome, Eric. Thank you very much, David, for trying to figure out what's the meaning of the name. We've got messages here coming up. Responding to the quiz questions. So Saidu is responding to that one. Very good. We got a message here from Chanel. Chanel said, good morning, Faith FM. Lindsay mentioned a creation book with Eden in the title yesterday that she would give to kids at church. What was the actual title again? I must keep missing that part on the recorded segment. We're going to ask Lindsay. I'm sure that she mentioned this book. From my recollection, Chanel, she was saying there was a book by Creation Ministries International. It was a book that they used to edit that spoke about Eden and other creation things. Lindsay's not with us in the studio today, but she will be back here on Friday, and we can ask her. She'll give her.
And why is she not back tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have a special program. Thanks for reminding me, Producer Shell. Tomorrow, you cannot miss tomorrow's show. It's going to be one of these special programs that we are so excited to do. You know, Narek, because we are going to have Adam with us. And who's Adam? Adam is a historian, and he's a specialist in the history of the Reformation. So how did the Christian church become so distant, so divorced, so different from the church of the time of the apostles?
Yeah.
Particularly finding its apex in the Middle Ages, where you look at the church in the 12th century, 13th century, and it looked nothing like the church in the book of the Acts of the Apostles. It was persecuting people. It was calling people heretics. It was burning people.
Wow.
It it was doing all kinds of really unspiritual, unbiblical things. How did it go to that point? And how did we get rid of that
Yeah.
to this day and age? It was thanks to the reformers, people that were reforming or getting the church back to where it's supposed to be. Is the Reformation over? We'll find out tomorrow with Adam at our special show on the Reformation. So you cannot miss it. Stay tuned here. It's going to be a great show. If you have any questions regarding Reformation, you can send them our way, and we will pass them along tomorrow as well. We also have our February birthday draw. So if you were born in February, you can text us here with your date of birth, 0491 064 669, and you get into the draw. And in the draw, you will be getting a chance to get a Bible. And when I say a Bible, I'm not saying any kind of Bible. I'm saying a proper Bible. Proper Bible, Jesus' words in red, leather bound, but not with animal leather. Yes, with a zipper. So
wow. Premium.
Premium, vegan leather, quality, expensive Bible, some Bible that will serve you for years and years to come, a Bible that you can take with you whenever you go, or you can choose other things. We have board games, have cookbooks, dinner with a host, or a voucher as well. So if you were born in February, let us know here, and you will get into our birthday draw. Are we missing anything here, Producer Shell, or do you think that this is it from our text line today?
Pretty good. I think we can move on.
I think we covered all bases. Narek.
Yes.
Let's talk about the book of Philippians, my brother,
Yep.
because we are in perhaps one of the most exciting chapters of Philippians. Certainly one chapter that there is a passage that is worthwhile memorizing every single word. But we're not going to get there quite yet, but we are approaching it. We're now going to look at another passage, which is also a passage that a lot of people struggle with. So Philippians chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Some people perhaps wish that this passage was not even there in the Bible in the first place. But it is a very important passage. It is in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 2. So the context here, remember that he started the chapter wanting to reconcile two ladies that were workers with him, that were struggling in the relationship to one another, Evodia and Syntyche. And Paul's saying, hey, if you're my true companion, please help them. Just help them to at least live in harmony. They don't necessarily need to, love each other. If they can really reconcile, even better, but at least live in harmony. That's like the very least that they can do together. And I think that Paul had a lot of tactfulness with that one. And then we see something in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 4. Can you read it for us?
No worries. Rejoice in the Lord always. Mm-hmm. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus.
Yes, that's very good. So let's talk about this one. This is actually a very powerful Bible passage. Actually, in Greek, a very similar passage of that of Paul is the smallest passage in the entire Bible.
Right.
Because do you know what's the smallest passage in the Bible? Do you know this one, Producer Shell? A quiz for you. You are always giving quizzes to us. I'm going to throw a quiz at you just to test you.
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept is the shortest Bible verse in the Bible, but in the English Bible.
Yep.
Is it also the smallest passage in the Greek Bible, Producer Shell?
No, I don't know.
Do you know which one?
I'm not a theologian. Sorry.
You need to be a theologian to get that one. I'll tell you, the smallest passage, the shortest actually passage in the Bible, in Greek is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16. Rejoice always. Isn't that nice?
That is.
Isn't it pretty interesting that like the smallest passage in English, like Jesus wept, and in Greek is like rejoice always.
Completely contrasted.
A bit of a contrast. But I can say that the reason that we can rejoice is because Jesus wept.
Yeah.
So they are connected.
Yeah, that is true.
So rejoice always. Now, my friend Narek,
Yeah.
how do you relate to that passage? Do you rejoice always? And by always, I mean always.
Yes. Well, I was actually watching a video on TikTok as I was just scrolling as a Gen Z person, as you would say.
Just doing the doom scrolling thing.
And as I was scrolling, there was something that captured my attention and made me stop my scroll. And it says the best command in the Bible. And so I wanted to listen to what he had to say. And he said that when it says in Philippians 4, rejoice in the Lord always, that's actually a command. He's saying for us that we need to rejoice always. And it was interesting to me. I mean, I'm open for discussion here. Is that an actual command? Like, is that a imperative that we are to rejoice? It is an imperative. Wow.
Bro, it is an imperative. I never never noticed that actually.
Yeah.
Never really looked into that. But I'm seeing here in my Greek Bible, and it is in the imperative here. It is a command. Rejoice.
Yeah.
But okay, someone can tell you this. Narek, your Bible, your holy book tells people to rejoice always.
Yeah.
How can I rejoice always when there's so much suffering in the world? Or
That is true.
when there's so much suffering in my own life? Imagine that person that's talking to you is going through great personal loss, great personal tragedy. And they say, and you're telling me to rejoice? Imagine that person is going through, let's say, a trauma where maybe they have been betrayed by their best friend.
Yeah.
And they're saying like, rejoice? How do you rejoice in that situation? What would you say to that person, Eric?
Well, it's kind of tough. I guess every context is different for everyone. For me personally, I've kind of been in a position where I've had to really test the waters in coming to myself. Am I going to rejoice in this situation?
Okay. Tell me about that story. What happened?
I think
be generic about it. No pun intended, actually. But like, you don't need to go into details. You can talk about general terms if you don't need to drop names or anything.
I was kind of journeying with one of my good friends. He's a pastor, and so I kind of always call him, and I'm like, hey, look, I'm at a crossroad right now. I don't know what to do in my life. I'm about 23 years old. What am I to do? Like, I'm a bit sad at the moment because I'm like, God, I'm trying to cry out to him. Nothing's coming back to me. And I'm kind of in a rough place right now. And he said, well, bro, you just got to rejoice. And for me, I wanted to tell him, like, that's so easy for you to say. Very easy for you to say. And so I said, what do you mean by that? And he said that when young people, myself, fall in and they align themselves with too much feelings and not over truth, they believe their feelings over the truth. And so for myself, he said, like, for those who belong to Christ are a new creation. And you need to believe that. And there's no condemnation for those who belong to Christ. And so I had to really believe what he had to say. And did it help in the moment? Probably not. But when I reflected the days to come, I could rejoice because I was like, you know what? There's no condemnation for those who belong to Christ. And I am a new creation. So in this new journey of trying to pave my way as a young 23-year-old, I'm like, okay, I can rejoice because I'm still a young man and God's still got plans for me. So that's how I I
love it. Yeah, I love it. That's such a great story, Narek. I love this passage. I think this is one of the passages. It's similar to when we say there's always a lesson for us in everything. You can always learn from people, even if what you're learning is learning what not to do.
Yeah.
There is always a lesson, in everything. And I think that in the same way that we as Christians can see everything as a lesson in a way, we can always also see in anything there's a reason for rejoice. Now, the reason for rejoice. This is the catch. Okay, are you ready? Do we have the drum rolls? Producer Shell, can we do some drum rolls here? I'm gonna say what's the catch for rejoicing always?
Yeah.
We don't have the drum rolls anymore. Let's do one here. The drum rolls. The drum rolls is the reason why you're rejoicing is not always that obvious.
Yeah.
Ah,
there we go.
I can give you a rim shot anyway.
That was not a joke, by the way. I am not joking. Yeah, but this is the catch is the reason for rejoicing is not always so obvious. We need to sometimes look a little bit beyond what is obvious. But if we are able to do so, we're always going to find a reason to rejoice. And when we rejoice on that thing that is going beyond the obvious, then we can come back and face the reason for our unhappiness or uncertainty or lack of hope, anxiety, and that anxiety will not dominate over us anymore. Faith will prevail over fear. I am going to give you a bunch of examples of what I am meaning. How can we see the positives, or how can I see reasons for rejoicing when there's no apparent reason for it?
Yeah.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
We are going to get here an answer to our quiz question.
The answer to our quiz question was Moses.
Moshe, yes. What did
He
Nashon
appointed, Nashon, son of Amminadab. So
What was
he
he
appointed
appointed
one
for?
of the leaders. When Moses was getting exhausted, leading the people all on his own, he needed to appoint more leaders.
Okay.
Thanks to some wisdom from his father-in-law, who guided him to
Love that chapter.
to delegate more.
Yeah.
And so, this is
That's
part
great.
of that story.
That is great.
Our last quiz question.
Last one.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
Hit me.
I'm ready.
Okay. According to Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 1, what are we told to cast into the water with the promise of later return? Cast what into the waters? With the promise of later return.
I know this one. Do you know this
Loving
one, Eric?
Eric's expression.
Look,
I think that you're being tortured right there, but this is it.
That's it.
oh, yep.
You got it?
Yep.
Yep. He,
got it now?
he just saw
Don't see the
Skafy's.
reflection of my answer in the through the window.
I promise that was
There's
my
all
answer as
kinds of
well.
ways to find the answer.
If you're looking in the right places, you'll be
I
able
think
to find
he
it.
learned that with Lindsay. Lindsay was into.
Yeah, she peeks around the corner a
She
bit to
peeks
see
around
what
the
you're
corner.
putting down.
You know what?
Okay, yeah,
Don't
not the
follow
kind
me.
of
I might be
person-
lost
Not
myself.
the kind of person you want to play cards with, somebody who peeks around the corner and sees what you're holding. Okay, according to Ecclesiastes 11:1, what are we told to cast upon the waters with the promise of later return? 0491 064 669 is our text line. Play along with us. 0491 064 669.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Producer Shell. And we were talking about coming back to our subject, to our topic. We were talking about this idea of rejoicing always. There's a phrase, a quote that I like a lot, and that is from Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa says this. She said, "Wash the dishes, not because it is dirty, nor because you are told to wash it, but because you love the person who will use it next."
Wow.
Isn't that a great quote?
That is,
Isn't that a
wow.
pretty profound?
I just had a thought like that. Yesterday, I was taking out the rubbish at home, and I was taking out the trash, and a few objects dropped out of the trash, and I was saying to myself, "Oh, it's all right. Like, the wind will blow it somewhere." So I put the trash into the bin, and then I was walking back, and just the guilt, I was like, if I'm not going to pick it up, my mother would have to do it. And I don't want her to go through that extra stress having to bend over and pick up the rubbish. So it kind of speaks to
There you
that.
go. And I think that this helps us to see a little bit about that idea of rejoicing always. I remember once seeing this list. Someone on social media, do not remember who it was, or I have seen it in different ways, in different formats. But they're saying, for example, if you are stressed or ungrateful because you are washing the dishes, for example, remember that the only reason why you're washing the dishes is because you actually have food to eat.
Wow.
Not everybody have food to eat. Or perhaps you're complaining because that your house is messy. But the only reason why your house is messy is because, you have children in your life. And so many people would absolutely love to change the cleanliness of their house for the messiness of a house with the joy and the life of children in it. For example, and you can go on and on with that. You can say, hey, you can be stressed because you are stressed at work, or you had a lot of work to do and you may be complaining about that. But hey, you can also be grateful that you have a job.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can complain that, perhaps your house is not up to your standards, but you can be rejoicing that you have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's not super obvious where it is, but every time that we have any kind of complaint, we're always able in Christ to find something that we can rejoice. And I'll tell you, sometimes even to the worst of human happenings, when I'm talking about some of the worst things we can experience as humans, I'm talking about injustices. And the greatest of all injustices, death.
Yeah.
Can we rejoice at someone's death? No, not because they died, but didn't Jesus say, blessed or happy are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted.
Yeah.
They will be comforted. We will not be rejoicing because someone died, at least not in the vast majority of cases. Actually, we should never. Actually, the Bible does say we should not even rejoice when our enemy dies and falls, period.
Yeah.
I know that this is not what the world thinks. The world thinks, rejoices when your enemy dies. The Bible says, no, there's not such a thing. Because our enemies are not people.
Right.
They're not human beings.
Yeah.
What our struggle is not against flesh and bone.
Yeah. Powers and principalities.
Principalities and spiritual powers in the dark regions of the world. This is what our struggle is about. People are being, in a way, even evil people are being puppets of evil angels and demons, perhaps without knowing. And that's whom we have to fight against. And how do we fight against them? Through prayer, with spiritual weapons, through righteousness, and so on.
That is true.
But getting back here, so what can you rejoice then when someone dies? Well, you can actually rejoice that there is the hope of a resurrection in Jesus.
Yeah.
We can rejoice for that.
Yeah.
We can rejoice that we are not like those who do not have hope.
Yeah.
Injustices happen. Well, we can rejoice because, hey, you know what? God is going to be able to use my suffering or this injustice to glorify himself. God is giving me this as an opportunity to either learn something or to experience the injustice with grace.
Yeah. And obviously there's that verse, James 1, where it says, count it all joy when you endure these trials and tribulations. And so for myself, I think every time that I'm in a struggle, I'm like, how can I be happy about this situation? And then I have the immense gratitude that comes over my life where I'm like, I have such a strong family that love me and care for me. And so the act of rejoicing isn't actually too hard because my mum will come in my room and make a joke, or I'll have my brothers to rely on to go out and play footy, or go to the boxing ring and punch the boxing bag, and I can rejoice in those small things, even though external circumstances aren't looking too good.
That's right. So. I love how you mentioned that passage in James there. I got it here. It's James chapter 1, verse 2. It says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds. It's not just saying consider it joy. It's like pure joy, all joy. And this is why is that? Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Yeah.
And let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So I'm going through trials, your pure joy, because, hey, these trials that I'm going through this injustice, I'm being, misrepresented, I'm being mistreated by whoever it is, maybe someone in your own household, maybe someone in your community, maybe someone in your church, maybe someone in your work, and you're saying, consider it pure joy, because this is going to produce patience And patience is going to make you mature and complete, not lacking anything. We go back full circle to where we started our program. It's preparing you for future occasions where knowing how to respond with kindness and meekness and gentleness and grace when you are being under pressure or accused. This is a banger of a skill for a Christian to have. Know how to stay quiet and calm and breathe in and have large nostrils when you are being falsely accused. So you're not on the defensive all the time. You're not trying to defend yourself all the time. Because when you're in the defensive, guess what? The person who got you in the defensive, they're controlling you. You're a boxer. Right? If you are in the offense, your opponent is just like defending themselves, right? So who's in control here?
Me.
You.
And they're on the back foot.
And
that's why my coach always says sometimes the best defense is offense. So, not trying to be on the defensive end sometimes. You've got to come back and roll with the punches as well.
But imagine that you are in this situation where that you were in the act of boxing, and you were punching someone, and you're punching them, and they fall and they get up again, and you're punching them and they fall and they get up again, and after like 560 punches, they're going back down, they're going up again. What are you thinking? Say, man, what is going on here? You're probably already being so tired, just by punching them and not even getting back. Well. And then you're starting to think, man, there's something supernatural about this person because they should have been steadied by now. I should have, they should have been absolutely KO'd by now, and they're not. Well, from a spiritual perspective, this is what happens in the Christian life.
Definitely.
They're saying like, why are you not responding back my evil with another evil? This is how you get the upper hand in the spiritual battle. It's not by giving the witty, clever, boom answer that makes you feel good, but that destroys bridges. But like when you respond with meekness and with blessings or with silence when you're being accused, all of a sudden Satan doesn't have the control of you. Satan realizes, hey, you're not responding like a normal human being. There's a higher power controlling you. This higher power is God. So again, another reason to rejoice. Why are we getting to talking about boxing here? We're talking about rejoicing when things are going incredibly wrong. Bible says, consider it pure joy. So if you're a Christian, you can ask yourself this diagnostic question: as a Christian, am I experiencing joy as my greatest and foremost emotion? If not, we have to troubleshoot it because this is not how it is supposed to be. Jesus was being taken to the cross. He had been abandoned by his followers. He had been rejected by his people. His body was absolutely crushed by the weight of the Roman cross. And what was he feeling? The Bible says that for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross.
Wow.
Joy. Not joy of being suffering, but joy that, hey, one day I'm going to have Narek and Skafy.
That is true.
And Shell and John and Peter with me in heaven.
That is true. So joy and the word that we've been going over, is there a difference between that and happiness?
That is a great question. Absolutely. There is differences. There's definitely overlaps. What do you think that they are? Yourself before I share my 2 cents of what I think it's the difference.
I've always kind of understood as happiness something that could always be changing. You could be happy, you could be sad, but joy is something that maybe is more sustainable and consistent because whether you're happy or you're sad, the joy remains within your heart. So that's kind of my understanding. I'm open for advice and advice from yourself and perspective.
I think that's a good way. I think that, look, the Bible actually, we have the word happiness, but the word happiness in the Bible is not exactly how we use happiness in our English word. It's not a perfect translation. You see, for example, when Jesus says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth, like the Beatitudes. Some translations translate that as happy are those who mourn. Happy are the peacemakers. Happy, happy, happy. The Greek word is not for that. It's translated as happy. It's not happy. It's makarios. Makarios is a much stronger word than happy, actually. Makarios is the word that is used to be someone that is extremely blessed with abundance. So Makarios is the kind of word that they used to use if someone, for example, inherited a large sum of money from an ancestor that died that they perhaps didn't even know, and now they won't have to worry about survival, about money for one single day of their life. This is Makarios. It's like it's extremely lucky and blessed, kind of a combined. And Jesus is saying, hey, you are that. A lot of people look at billionaires as like the target to achieve, to reach. Wow, imagine if I was a billionaire, I would be so happy. Yeah. I would have everything that I wanted. I would do so much good in the world and so on. Jesus said, look, you don't need to become a billionaire to have that level of happiness. Actually, you can be more than happy, more than that. A careless form of happiness, a happiness that you don't need to care about anything else in your life when you trust in God. Yeah. You can actually experience that. Whereas the billionaires, often they are full of cares, actually, sometimes.
Yeah. So you'd say that they would rely on their money for happiness and joy rather than actually...
Yeah, I would say that. So this is the Greek and how it's different from the happiness. Yeah. Another word that sometimes we translate as happiness is blessed. It's the word blessed in the Bible. But blessed, again, you have received a favor from God. Yeah. But I would say the difference between joy and happiness in the way that we are thinking about happiness is that happiness, the happiness that we think of, it largely depends on the external circumstances around us. Yeah, that's why it can fluctuate. It can be happy one day and not so happy the other day. So when it fluctuates, or it depends on this happiness. It kind of depends on the external circumstances being favorable. Yeah. Whereas joy, it's something that you can experience in spite of the external circumstances. What is bringing that joy to you is an idea, a concept, a hope that you have in your heart, a certainty that you have in your heart, and that is going to bring your joy. Or, for example, I'll tell you something that brings joy. It brings joy to me when I think about my children. Wow. It brings me a lot of joy. Automatically. I don't need to do any effort. Just think of them. Just think of their smiling faces in my brain. That is beautiful. That fills my heart with a joy. Wow. And it doesn't matter where I am. I can be at work. I can be running. I can be talking to someone. Like whenever I am, if I think of them, that brings me a joy. And the joy that Jesus gives when he gives us the hope of eternal life, when he gives us the assurance of his salvation, when he gives us the assurance of his love, of his presence, of knowing that he has given us his word, that we can treasure and we can learn it. All of these things, they are bringing us joy so that irrespective of the situation that you're facing, you can face that situation with joy. That is true. And with hope. Wow. And hope is basically joy of anticipation of a future event. That's the connection between hope and joy. Yep. Because I can have joy for things that happened in the past. Yeah. Okay, I can be joyful that Jesus died for me, or I can be joyful that my children did something special for me. But this is different from hope. Hope is the joy that I'm getting now because I know that someone or something good is coming my way. Yeah. And the greatest of these hopes is the second return of Jesus, when he's going to make disappear and to correct every single injustice that has ever been committed in the whole history of this planet. Wow. Rejoice always. This is why Paul can say, rejoice always. Again, I say, or how say, again, I command, rejoice.
What an imperative.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Rejoice always is the order of the day. This is what we're talking about. And producer Shell is going to reveal to us the answer to the quiz question before we finalize our thoughts here.
The answer to our last quiz question was bread. Bread. So according to Ecclesiastes 11, what are we told to cast upon the waters? And that is bread.
Yes. Casting the bread upon the waters. This is a very interesting imagery here.
Yeah, we do it all the time to feed the fish.
Yeah,
and to feed the ducks.
Or the ducks. Yep. And he says that somehow you're giving something that was supposed to be yours to someone else, and it somehow returns back to you. Yeah. You're going to reap that. Maybe through the friendship of the ducks, or because maybe the fishes that you're feeding, they're going to become your nutrition one day. We don't know. But I was saying, using this analogy to say, hey, you know what? When you sow kindness, you're actually going to reap kindness as well. And perhaps from unexpected places. Yeah. Because when we sow kindness, we don't necessarily reap kindness from the exact same place where we sown it.
Yeah.
But it does come through other avenues because ultimately will come from God.
Yeah. And I've definitely noticed the results of that, of just being able to give freely and love freely. And that would always kind of be coming back into return tenfold, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an absolute blessing.
Yeah.
Amen. Speaking of kindness, I think somebody wants to set you up. They're asking, are you single?
Okay, wow. So Merrick is making
Merrick,
his
answer the question
debut
here for us.
I'm so sorry to our viewers or anyone that's listening. I'm not single.
You're not single.
He is not single. He's committed. So we'll see if there's going to be a prophet that's going to tell him if he should marry or not, or if he should trust just the Holy Spirit and
I'm gonna
make your own mind.
My
That's
Facebook
right.
private.
Imagine if you come to your girlfriend. Is she a girlfriend or a fiance?
This is my girlfriend.
She imagine comes to her girlfriend and say, "Hey, look, I had this prophet guy saying that we should get married. So just booked our ceremony for tomorrow."
I tell him his name is Skafy.
Don't put my name down there, bro. Oh, dear.
Oh, Narek, what was your favorite part of the show? First one for you?
Yeah.
First experience? What did you enjoy the most?
I think I really love just learning, being able to learn it and soak in this new environment. And also, I love talking about the imperative that we went over and to rejoice always. And just sharing perspective, I think. It's a very big value add to my life and also to my journey. So, I think just as a whole, it was great. It was just being able to talk, have conversation and engage with different people and perspectives and life journeys. That's from me.
Yeah, very good. Look, I'm very grateful that you were here as well, that we get to know you a little bit more today, Narek. And me too. Look, I was very impressed with Rejoice Always. I think this is a Bible verse that you can never be reminded of enough. Because our brains so easily fell into anxiety or despair or complaints or murmuring. That's unfortunately, that's how often sin affects our lives. Even myself, I consider myself to be pretty much a happy-go-lucky kind of a person, seeing the glass half full most of the time kind of a guy. But still, I also do complain, and I realize that God says, "Hey, Skafy, that's not my plan for you. Instead of complaining, what about you give me praise for something? What about you rejoice for something? Try to really look at the positives here and the lessons here and the blessings from it." So I like that one. What about you, producer Shelley? You have any highlights from today's show?
I had fun with the quiz. I always enjoy the quiz. But I enjoyed some of the questions from today. And I really do love the verse that we mentioned in one of our quiz questions, which was Psalms 3, verse 5, which I hadn't really familiarized myself with just that specific passage before. And I just love it. I think that it's actually quite a good one to memorize because it's, I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord sustained me. It's just like, I'm not going to worry. I had like a really worrisome dream a couple of nights ago, and I woke up and I'm like, man, I'm stressed. Mm-hmm. I am stressed. I know exactly why I dreamed, what I dreamt. And
yeah, it was disturbing your peace.
It was disturbing my peace very much. And so I need to be quoting this verse more and just really turning it over to the Lord. Yeah, that was great. I think that the quiz questions today were fun. We talked about Habakkuk and the stones crying out for justice. We looked at Nashon, the son of Aminadab, who was one of the leaders selected by Moses. And the second death, and I've been in kind of a little bit of a conversation with some people who believe in eternal hellfire recently, and so we've been talking about that passage and a few other things as well, and it's quite a troublesome doctrine in my mind, and so just trying to talk to these people about it has been
absolutely
quite good.
And I think that, for me, having changed or me not being able to be on board with this idea that is very popular among many Christian circles of this eternal burning, torture in hell, not only because I don't think it fits with God's character of love to be torturing people for eternity, like do you know what eternity is? Like, would you punish someone forever for something that they have done in a finite amount of time? Doesn't make sense. But from a biblical perspective, well, then how can hell be called a second death if there's no death involved in it? So this passage of second death, I think it makes it super clear that we're talking about hell being an event, a finite event, a temporary event that is going to bring that cessation of existence.
Yeah.
And people are not going to be suffering. Even those who chose wickedness and evil and injustice, even those, God will be merciful on them. And sure, there might be not a place for them in the kingdom of heaven, but there's also not a place for them to be suffering forever. They're just going to be erased out of existence. They're not going to be suffering. They're not going to be experiencing any pain, any joy, anything. They just cease to exist. And I think that is actually quite good news from the part of God. If you enjoyed the show, tell it to a friend. If you didn't like it, tell it to an enemy. But listen to us. We're back here again.
God be with you till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.